Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're gonna ride the most iconic mountain bike in the game, the Stumpjumper.
But that's alright. Hush.
Back to the channel, guys, and in this video we're going to talk about the 2025 Stumpjumper. We're going to talk about the changes Specialized has done to the Stumpjumper, and then we're going to take this bike for the live review. So I'll leave a timestamp right here if you want to fast forward to that. Biggest, most obvious change done to the Stumpjumper is the swing arm, or the side arm, is gone. So on this 2025 model, there's no longer an Evo or a Flex Day. There's just one Stumpjumper, one type of frame. There are different models with this same frame, which can kind of help you tailor this bike to your specific type of riding and trails. For example, this is the Pro model. On top of this one, there's going to be the S-Works. It's got full 29er along with the S-Works. Underneath this one, there's a Öhlins coil model where it's just going to have a Öhlins 38 fork and bumped up travel to 160 millimeters. And then we're going to have the Expert and then the Comp. All Stumpjumpers now are going to be sporting 145 millimeters of travel on the back, paired with a 150 millimeter fork, other than the Öhlins one. This Pro model retails for $9,000. I'm riding a size S3, which is equivalent to a size medium at other brands. It's very similar geometry to the outgoing Evo, and a lot of the adjustments from the Evo have carried over to this new Stumpy. So they've gotten rid of the sidearm and added this huge beefy shock linkage, top of the shock linkage. Looks like it's from the Specialized Enduro, and I'm sure that has to do with tweaking the kinematics and allowing the frame to be stiff enough without that sidearm. Now there's a new shock that has just been released, the Fox Genie. I've been told that Specialized has exclusive rights to this specific shock for about 2 years, and after that you'll probably see them on other bikes. But let's talk about the adjustability on the new Stumpjumper. This is the whole lineup will have the same things, just like the Evo did, the previous outgoing Evo. You have the horse link flip chip there if you want to change the bottom bracket height from high to low. So I'm sure if you want to run mullet, you put this in high. Right now I'm running it in low. You also have the adjustable head tube angle via the top cup here. Like I'll show it right here in my hand. Just like other Specialized bikes, this one still has a SWAT door with the multi-tool connected to the bottom of the water bottle. They just updated the door, just like the Epic Evo 8 and the Epic 8. Now you have this little latch system, which is really nice, really secure on the frame. And then you still have these little grommets. If you want to screw in your CO2 cartridge, you can bolt it directly to this, so it's not rattling around your frame. Plenty of storage area in there. You put your little bag in there with your tube. I'm not sure if this comes with the water bladder like the Evo did. As for the frame geometry, I'll give you a couple highlights here, but I'll definitely leave a link to Specialized's website below. This S3 model specifically talk about, because that's what I have in front of me. I'm 5'10", and I always talk about being stuck between a medium and a large. This is pretty much a medium-sized frame, very similar size and geometry to the outgoing Stumpjumper Evo. That head tube angle is 64.5, and that's in the neutral cut position. You can plus or minus that. This S3 has a 450 millimeter reach, 77 degree seat tube angle. Top tube length is 595 millimeters, and all those numbers, I rode the bike before I knew the geometry figures, and it felt a little bigger to me. I don't know why. I feel like this S3 fits me a little bit better. It feels a little bit bigger, even though it's pretty much exactly the same numbers as my old Evos I had in the past. As for this Pro model, comes with this nice British racing green looking color, and it's not a solid color, it's translucent, so you can see the raw carbon. I don't know if it's coming out on camera, but the raw carbon underneath the paint job. And then on top of that, it has like a high gloss kind of clear coat just flashed on it, so it looks like the paint's actually wet. So pretty cool looking. Are these Reval Traverse SL2 wheels. They've got this really cool profile, trying to mimic the Crank Brothers Synthesis wheels, where it's kind of hard to get a pinch flat. It has this flat profile. The wheel set's very compliant. They're tuned differently, just like the Carbon Synthesis wheels. They have a little bit more flex in the front so it doesn't beat you up, and they make them a little bit stiffer in the back. For drivetrain, got the SRAM EXO transmission drivetrain. Really nice. Same thing as it was on the Epic, and it's got, you can hear Industry on 1-wood hubs. For tires, you can see what Specialized is trying to do with one bike. They put a Butcher Grid Trail T7, that's their harder compound, on the Evos, and even the regular stump jumpers are putting a T9, the softer, more grippier compound, and they pair that with the Eliminator T7 in the back. I think they did that because they want this bike to still roll fast, grip pretty well. This tire still has plenty of grip, but they want the bike to kind of meet in the middle of the Evo and the Flex Stick. The most important thing on this whole entire bike is the suspension. I guess Specialized worked closely with Fox to develop this new Fox Genie shock. It has the sensitivity of a coil shock and then the bottom out resistance of a air shock, even more so than a regular air shock. So Specialized claims that there's 57% better traction than a standard air spring on this shock, and there's 39% fewer severe bottom out events. And I put it to test, and I'll have to say, I think it works. I kind of believe the hype. There's a huge air can, as you can see here. It's about the size of a X2 air can. So there's one external air can which provides a nice small bump sensitivity, and then there's a smaller air can or air sleeve underneath this, which allows the shock to ramp up. You have your rebound adjustment, and then you have your open and firm setting. And on the open position, you have like the 1, 2, and 3, so you can change the compression that way. And paired with that Fox Genie, we got the Fox Factory 36 with the new Grip X2 damper. This is my first time riding this fork, and it is really, really nice. It has a sensitivity feels the same as a RockShox, so I'm pretty stoked about that because I'm always a big RockShox fan, and I felt like, at least in my personal experience, that Fox just felt a little stiff for me. But for this, it came with 2 volume spacers. I had to add 1 more just to kind of pair it with that Genie bottom out resistance. But enough talking, guys. Let's take this puppy to the trail for the live review. As with any good ride, you have to start with the climb. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around for the live review. We're gonna punch our way up. We're on the Pro model. The Evo and the Flex Stay Stumpy are now gone. So Specialized had to make sure that this new Stumpy can fill both those slots in the Stumpy lineup. And how they did that is with this magical Genie shock. Just feels like a really, really good tuned shock. You could tell they took the time with Fox and got it right. Because if you ever spend time with your own suspension, no matter what brand, but you just got the right amount of volume spacers, the right PSI, the right amount of low speed and high speed compression and rebound, everything. It feels like that out of the box. I pumped it up to about 190, I think. I've been going between like 190, 195 PSI, and that gives me about 30% sag. And I am on a S3, which equates to about a size medium in other brands. And it's, when I first got it out of the shop, it felt perfect. I sat on it at Bike Bar and rode it around the shop, and it's like, yep, I'm definitely S3. Then I hit my first extended climb, and that's when you really know what size bike you should be on, because it feels a little tight. The bars feel like they're in my lap a little bit, but it still feels bigger than the old Evo. And the geometry sharpeners say different. They're pretty much the exact same size bike. So the geometry on this bike mirrors basically the old Evo. So what this shock does for the bike, and this is what Specialized claims, but I think it's true, is it has more small bump sensitivity. I'll leave the percentage here on the screen, and there's less harsh bottom outs. And I've been testing the crap out of that. I've been hucking this thing off some drops to flat, and it takes it like a champ. Feels like it has way more suspension than it does. Positioning on like the steeper climbs, like this is not steep, but it's steeper. You're in a really good position, 77 degrees seat tube angle, and you can just spin away. And how the bike rides or pedals is very light. The last Evo pedaled pretty well. I liked it. It was one of my favorite bikes of all time. But now this one has a more sporty feel while pedaling. But that sporty feel while pedaling does not deter on how it feels going downhill. That small bump sensitivity provides really good traction. I was riding the other day here and it was sandy, really dry. It's almost like baby powder on the rocks, and it just hooked up. It just kind of cruises uphill, very comfortable to climb. I wish, though, Specialized, my one gripe still, the average size guy is about 5'8" to 5'10", who would probably appreciate a S3.5 bike. So if this bike had like 460 millimeters on the reach and like a 605 to 610 effective top tube, you dialed. There it is, the notorious part of the climb. Call it the traction section, because this thing is just test how grippy this bike can be while climbing. Look at these baby head rocks, all loose and janky. It's real nice for scratching your rims up. And nice carbon wheels. Like I suspected, it goes through that section. So nice. The more traction, meaning that the shock is pretty active, it doesn't take away from its sporty feeling. It doesn't feel like it's robbing my energy. Made it to the top. Let's see how the new Stumpjumper goes down. Phew. Dang. Ooh, puddle. Let's go around this. The first thing I noticed, though, with this new Stumpy is the suspension sensitivity. Ooh, case that. Oh, too flat. Oy. See if I bottomed it. I don't think I did. Nope. But like I was saying, the sensitivity on this Genie shock is so good, and this new Fox 36, the Grip X2 damper, it's just so much traction. And to match the fork to the shock, since this thing's so progressive, it came with two volume spacers in the fork. I had to add a third one just to get that feeling, the balance feel. Man, I've got it dialed. With that shock and fork feeling so sensitive, just so much traction. He's loaded up in these turns. Whoop, so much grip. Woo. Yeah. Oh man, pretty good pop still too. Yeah, they got this thing feeling really good with the suspension, like really good. Yo. Oh yeah, so much traction. That thing's all chewed up with rocks. I think it's this way. Gotta do some brush hacking. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It feels like more travel than it actually really has. So the last Stumpy Evo, they're like less travel sometimes. As I push up here, this thing, it's hard to describe. So it definitely feels more like the Evo. What they did to spec it with a T7 tire to make it faster rolling, not making the front end so sticky, which I wish they had the T9 up there, to be honest, and how they tune this Genie shock has the bike, when you pedal it, feel really light, but when you're hucking off stuff, landing to flat, it feels like you have way more travel than 145 millimeters. It feels more like the Evo, but even the sometimes when I rode my Evo, it felt like it had less travel. Like it could be kind of harsh sometimes. It took a lot of time to get that shock feeling just right. Oh, that little rock. Oh yeah. Woo. Even though this bike is an S3 and it's a touch small for me, it still feels really balanced. I feel like I'm in the middle of it. Is there such thing as two powerful brakes? because one part I didn't record back there. I was just sending my hand slipped and hit the brake, almost went over the bars. These things lock up, these mavens. Come on. Oh, yep. Oh, yeah. That is not a harsh bottom out. Wow. This thing just handles it. Oh man, how do they combine two bikes into one? And that's what they've done. They've taken the pedal efficiency and the lightness. Oh, let's see if I get the section of the, oh God, of the Flex Day stump jumper and the capability and the adjustment of the Evo. That's what you need to know. If you're gonna leave with anything from this review, is that James can't go through rock gardens. Because this thing weighs, I believe, oh yeah, we weighed it, 30 pounds without pedals, set up tubeless. It's pretty good for such a capable bike. Over the rocks, get over there. There we go. When you go over like little rocks like that, it just almost feels like their tires are flat. This fork, I think with these Revolve SL2 wheels, they're so compliant. I think they have a better ride quality than my Crank Brothers Synthesis wheels, and those are carbon too, and I have the aluminum ones, and these just really dampen the trail. I mean, I'm not riding the gnarliest stuff, I know that, but I know what this feels like on my other bikes, and this feels a touch better. What I'm really curious to do is to ride a cheaper model. The Expert looks really nice. I think it's about $6,500 and it comes with the Performance Elite suspension and like the GX transmission. So I think the Maven bronze brakes are the lower spec. But I'm really curious is about the wheels. It comes with aluminum wheels, and I'm wondering if these wheels make the bike feel that much better. Phew! Oh! Bounce! Yo! I love that jump. Another bike that has me intrigued is the coil one right underneath this. So is that coil gonna have like the same bottom out resistance as this? I don't think so. Because this thing just, it just takes it. Oh, you can't see anything with all the leaves on the bushes. Woo! Let's see how Hammer's off camber. Damn, these brakes are so powerful. Almost too powerful. Oh, so flush feeling. Lots of traction. So what do I like about this new stump jumper? I love the maneuverability about it. It still feels really flickable. I know the size is a little small for me, so it's gonna naturally feel like that, but I think even with the S4, the bike just feels really balanced. That Genie shock just provides awesome traction, a lot of bottom out support, and also feels decently efficient while pedaling. So really good tune on the shock. Bike is really quiet. They spec this bike really well. I mean, you are paying top dollar for it at $9,000. But that Fox 36 with the new Grip X2 damper just matches this Genie shock perfectly. Lots of small bump sensitivity, but then with the 3 tokens in the front of that fork, about 80 PSI, ramps up really nice. First time riding these Revolve Traverse SL2 wheels. I love them. I think they have a better ride quality than the Crank Brothers Synthesis. I'd love to get more miles on them. So Specialized, if you have another demo pair you can send my way, please do. Drivetrain works well, obviously. The SRAM transmission, bike yoke dropper, really nice. These Maven brakes, still getting used to them. Way too much power. I thought I'd never say that, but literally, if you're riding and your hand like slips a little bit and you kind of hit the brake, it grabs, and it grabs hard. He'll throw you over the bars. How does this compare to other mid-travel trail bikes? Well, this one feels on a different side or a different part of the spectrum of the aggressive trail all mountain bike. This new Stumpy kind of fits in the, I want to create another category. It's the lightweight all mountain aggressive trail bike, meaning that it weighs 30 pounds, and that's what pretty much my Fuel EX, Trek Fuel EX weighs, maybe a little heavier. but how it pedals and how it dances on the trail, it feels really lightweight. It's kind of fits my riding style. I like to like hop over stuff. I don't like to plow through things. And you can tell how Specialized, I think they kind of tended the bike to feel that way by speccing faster rolling tires, the T7 compound, the shock tune, how it feels. You know, it has traction, but it keeps it high in the travel when you have it like at 28 or 30% sag on the shock. It feels really efficient. Doesn't feel like you're just bogging down. And yeah, it just works. Would I prefer this over my Fuel EX? That's like the main thing I'm riding right now. I can compare it directly. This shock feels better. This rear suspension feels better on this bike than my Fuel EX. And I have a coil and the Super Deluxe air shock. That coil feels great, but this Genie shock feels like a coil on the initial part of the stroke. Nice and sensitive, rams it really hard. So almost feels like it has like that hydraulic bottom out that RockShox has. I love the look of the bike. I think it's a good looking bike. The Fuel EX is kind of an ugly bike, but it works. It fits me, and it's a fast, fun bike. I don't know, we'll see. That Olin's one has me intrigued. But guys, if you have any questions, like on the other videos, leave them in the comments below. I'll definitely leave a link to Specialized's website so you can check out all their build kits and all their different models. But thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.